So, joining me today is a panel of representatives from our community. So, we have representing our community of families, Eric Morden, a Defeat Duchenne Canada board member. We have two Duchenne parents. We have Sherene Davidson at the end, and we have Jeanne Germon-Ditz from an organization called I Have Resolve Foundation. We also have a researcher of our community, Dr. Jacque Tremblay, who is professor and researcher at Laval University in Quebec. Representing our clinical community is Dr. Laura McAdam, who is the director of ambulatory care at Holland Bloorview Kids Rehabilitation Hospital. And representing our extended family of community is Rachel Callander, who is a member of our international community and our keynote speaker, who we'll be hearing from tomorrow morning. So thank you, everybody, for joining me this morning. And so each member of our panel is going to take some time to introduce themselves, tell us about your connection with Duchenne, the role that you play in the community, and how you empower our families and our community. So let's start with Eric. And testing. Hold on. This isn't like the karaoke one I have at home, just saying. Okay, I think that's working. Can you hold that okay? Yeah. Sure. If you want me to hold it, let me know. Okay.
Hi, everyone. I'm Eric. I believe I've been mentioned a few times already, it seems. I was just put on the board of directors for Defeat Duchenne Canada, which I think is, yes, a lot of big things happened for me this year. So I also just graduated from Carleton University in the spring with a Bachelor of Science in Biology and also a minor in Disability Studies. And this past summer, I also did the Rick Hansen Foundation Accessibility Certification with Braden, who I think is online right now, hopefully. And the two of us will be talking about that more tomorrow. But when it comes to my connection to Duchenne, I have a pretty close relationship to it, I think, since I have it. But also, I've been a part of when it was called Jesse's Journey, since John said, since I was like very, very little, that I probably don't remember what it was like back then, but I still remember that there was a great community around me to help, and that really helped me just keep going and keep my perseverance up, seeing all the other boys, older and younger than me, just doing the good thing, doing the good fight. And I think my role in the community, obviously as a member of the board, I give that little spice of Duchenne into the discussions and the decisions that they make in this charity, which I think is really cool because it's very important that as someone with Duchenne, that we have our voice also heard if it's a charity about Duchenne muscular dystrophy, because the stuff that we say as boys with Duchenne really does matter. Even if sometimes I don't think, like, I'll say something I think, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. No, it is absolutely vital that the voice of boys with Duchenne is a part of the conversation. And I think when it comes to empowering families, not to toot my own horn, doing panel stuff like this, talking to all of you awesome people that have shown up today. And yes, as I mentioned, to show that our perspective matters on things. Even though I have a biology degree, so I do understand all the science stuff when it comes to research and all that. But even just a simple thought of like, oh, maybe I should be going in a more accessible door. That kind of thing, like, oh, this doesn't work. That is important because that brings up the issue that a lot of people may not think of in the moment. And another way that in the past that I've empowered families, I believe, is that for some of you that don't know, for 15 years, my family, that was started by my aunt and uncle, we ran an annual event called Eric's Amazing Race, which was a car rally and silent auction. And over those 15 years, we raised, I think, over $200,000 that we gave to Jesse's Journey for Duchenne research. And I think that was really good because I remember I was young for a lot of it because we started doing it when I was 3. But I remember there were lots of other Duchenne families that would show up, take part in the car rally, and have lots of fun. And just, it's really awesome to have a community that can come together like that for some fun competition, of course. And also, I think this past year when I was at Carleton, hoping a few boys saw it on my Instagram, but I took my wheelchair from my residence at Carleton University to Parliament Hill and back, which is about not a full 33 kilometers, but I actually, funny story, when I went to and from Parliament Hill, my wheelchair actually has an odometer on it, so I could see exactly how far I was going. And I had gone back and forth, and I just got back to my residence, but there was still like 0.5 kilometers left that I needed, so I just kind of went back and forth in my campus to make sure that I got to exactly half of 33 kilometers. And I couldn't go the full 33 because my wheelchair would have definitely run out of battery at that point. So yeah, I guess the main thing I can say to the other boys here about empowering other families is just show up. Because you don't even have to like do a panel discussion like I'm doing and talk to all of you. Just me, I can see all the boys that are here. You guys just showing up is like, that's enough. You can always do more, of course, and you are absolutely capable of doing more. It's just, yeah, as simple as showing up, that's awesome.
Thank you, Eric. So you all see why Eric is on our board of directors. And I have to say, when we were first diagnosed with Duchenne, one of the first programs we went to was the one with the Morden family. And I think, Eric, you were maybe 12 or 13, and you were up on stage, and you were giving a speech, and I was just like, wow. Incredible. So thank you, Eric. Thank you. All right, next, well, why don't we just go along the line? Dr. McAdam. Is that okay? Am I going to mess up slides if I do that? Okay. Oh. Is it this one? Okay.
So I assume this button?
I'm going to assume it's the
This
go
button.
button.
All right, now at least I know how to use this. So today, thank you so much for the invitation to come and speak today as part of this panel. I feel, Eric, you are a very hard person to follow. I think your words of wisdom are so impactful for us as clinicians, as well as everyone in the room here. So I'm going to move to, maybe. Oh, yep. Okay. I think I've just pointed this direction. So I'm actually going to start with a thank you. So you're right. I have been in this field for about 18 years now, and I have really had the privilege of meeting many of the families in the room, many of the families that are online, and many families that haven't been able to be here, that aren't able to be here today. So this everything that we're doing as clinicians is to the children, youth, and families who have generously shared their experience with us as clinicians. So I really say thank you. You have been my greatest teacher, my team's greatest teacher, all of the healthcare providers that you meet. You are their teachers. You're continually reminding us of the true meaning of compassion, resilience, and wisdom, and you bring purpose and inspiration to everything that we do. And without all of you, we wouldn't be able to help support you in a way that is meaningful, or hopefully meaningful. And you are really a catalyst for change. When I think about the journey that I've had as a physician, I have changed dramatically over the last 18 years. You ignite a passion for advocacy and support. We want, as a team, to empower children, youth, and families, and create a supportive environment within the clinical team. Because of you, we've actually created a mission statement, and this is our mission statement for the neuromuscular team at Holland Bloorview. So we strive to optimize and enhance the quality of life for children and youth with neuromuscular conditions and their families. We work collaboratively to share knowledge and information, provide assessments, and deliver care. Our aim is to respectfully support and guide children and youth, as well as their families, to reach their personalized life goals and values. And I think that's really, Eric, what you were talking about, is how can we help support you as families as well as individuals with Duchenne. So the neuromuscular team uses an interdisciplinary child and family-centered approach to care. And you'll see that picture on the bottom. It's from Halloween last year. We are a very big team at Holland Bloorview. I know every team around the country looks different, and that is okay. It's really about having a team that's supporting you as individuals. You'll get to meet many of the different team members throughout the day today. About 10 years ago, we were part of a study that was talking about enhancing human aspects of care. And when I'm talking about human means the emotional, social, and personal dimensions of illness experience. And that's really guided us as a team. When we were part of the study, we changed our routines in clinics, and really, as part of the study, there's some of you in this room that were part of the study, both at Holland Bloorview and CHIO, where we heard from youth, we heard from families about what worked, what didn't work, what we were missing in our care. And so that changed what we do. It changed our priorities in clinic, and it also ensured that we were prioritizing emotions. We found that we were focusing on cheer or hope, and we weren't creating the space for some of the other emotions that everyone's experiencing. So the grief, the sadness, the loss. And those are very important emotions, and we need to make sure that we're creating that avenue for all of the emotions and the experiences to be expressed. None of this can be done without collaboration. So our collaboration with youth, children, families, collaborations within the community, with different advocacy groups, with networks, both within Canada, outside of Canada, and of course, research. And so just within just some of the collaborations are Defeat Duchenne Canada and the Family Forum today. We have Muscular Dystrophy Canada, and there's a lot of excellent information also on Parent Project Muscular Dystrophy, which is an American organization. We have collaborated and created different handouts to provide individuals. So the first one was about sex and neuromuscular conditions. And yes, I did use that word. So we have a guide for clinicians that we worked collaboratively on just to broach these topics, to think about these topics, and also to empower clinicians to speak about this in clinic. There is also a strong collaboration with many individuals that will be here today on the emergency cards, and you will have received one of those in your package today. Little pieces of information are so key when you're interacting with healthcare professionals. And there are many other networks both across Canada. There's the Canadian Neuromuscular Disease Registry, Optimize DMD. You're going to be hearing from Dr. Ward, who's a bone expert in Duchenne later today, and many international collaboratives. So really, I just want to say thank you to everyone in this room, to everybody I've met throughout my career. You have shaped me as a clinician, and I'm going to continue to grow and learn from all of these experiences and interactions. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. McAdam, and also to the Holland Bloorview team. We really do appreciate all the work that you do. And as Dr. McAdam mentioned, we do have a lot of resources on the table in the registration room. So please have a look and see what we have there. And some of you might have received some also in your bags that you received as well. So without further ado, Jeanne.
Thank you. My name is Jeanne, and I'm here with my husband, John, today. I I have to say I wasn't sure how I would feel being here because I am a parent of a boy, Jason, who had Duchenne. We lost him in 2013. And I have to say, it really feels like coming home. We participated in the walks. We were so proud to be a part of that with John and so many people here. We attended a few of the Eric's Amazing Race, and it is just a joy to be here and to see so much progress and to be part of such a wonderful team. We lost Jason in 2013, and when we lost him, we made the decision that we wanted to focus on doing some good, and with that we thought we want to focus on the person. And thinking about what Jason missed out on, we wanted to focus on the person and not the diagnosis. So with that, we thought it was about inclusion, and inclusion for persons with disabilities. And that inclusive piece for us was that Jason often felt left out, or he didn't have a lot of social interaction at school. And with that, it was, what can we do to make a difference for him? Now, he was shy to begin with, but living with Duchenne really impacted him even more in terms of creating those social connections. So we started our foundation, and over time, we have created 3 pillars in terms of inclusion. The first was teaching youth and teaching kids how to reach out, how to be a friend. So we're spending funds, and we've made contributions to camps in terms of facilitation, in terms of inclusion learning, and reaching out to someone with a disability and really being a friend. So it's such an easy term, but at the same time, what we found was that Jason was never bullied, but he was isolated. So kids didn't know what to say, so they ended up saying nothing. And the nothing was what kind of kept him left out and on the periphery of a lot of the activities going on. So that's one of our pillars. Our second that we focus on is classroom supports. So we reach out to schools, we reach out in terms of what can we provide in terms of whether it's sensory supports, physical supports, communication devices, in order to make thriving in the classroom easier for kids. And it's one of the things that's really important for us, is for kids to have that wonderful school experience. And finally, and this is the pillar that allows us so much freedom, and that's creating individual opportunities for specifically children with disabilities. So we have funded adaptive horseback riding, hockey, lots of different opportunities to get kids out into the community and participating. We run a gaming marathon every single year at around holiday time. And with that, we do some fundraising, but it's really about supporting kids with different projects that we do through the fundraising, but also it's about teaching children about what we do and creating that inclusive environment so that everyone can thrive. And that's our purpose. So I live as a parent, but as a boy who is just such a wonderful inspiration to me, like John was saying about Jesse in terms of what he taught your family about perseverance and resilience. Jason said to me at a point where he was really transitioning from walking, "Don't worry, Mom, whatever happens, I have resolve." And that's how we started. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jeanine. I've had the pleasure of getting to know you over the last couple of months, and you're just an incredible mom. And I'm just so thankful that we have met. And I encourage everyone to please go and talk to Jeanine. They have a table out in the exhibit place. It's called I Have Resolve Foundation. So learn more about the incredible work that Jeanine is doing in her community. And she also provided some of the games that the kids are playing with at the youth and kid room. So really awesome. Thank you so much. All right. So now I'll pass it over to Rachel.
Thank you so much. I do feel a little bit like the odd one out here, and full disclosure, I'm not Canadian. I'm a New Zealander living in Australia, so I'm joining you from Australia, and it's such a privilege to be here. Thank you. The other thing I do need to tell you, I am not a parent of a child with Duchenne. I don't know what that is like to have a child with Duchenne muscular dystrophy, but I do know what it is like to have a child with a rare condition. And I do know what it's like to live in uncertainty with medical complexity and fear as a parent. I had a little daughter called Evie, and I'll share more about my story tomorrow. But how I empower and support families in this space is quite an amazing journey. You know, I am actually a wedding and portrait photographer by background, and I studied fine art in New Zealand, and here I am speaking to you guys in Toronto. So it's quite a stretch, and the story is led by all of the things that Evie taught me, and we're hearing a lot of these similar themes coming up from Jeanne's story and from John and Eric, even yourself, just what you learn in life. I work a lot with PPMD in the United States, and my role now is with PPMD is to support families. I run facilitated support groups, encouraging them to talk about the big stuff. You know, somebody mentioned it's not just about hope and the more positive emotions, but navigating grief, speaking the unspoken fears, having support and guided conversations around some of the big things that we feel like we can't talk to anybody else about, but except for those that really get it and understand. So I feel very privileged to facilitate those groups. We talk about identity, we talk about communication, self-care, and everything in between. But my main role is I am now full-time as a healthcare communication consultant. So I work with clinicians and healthcare providers to support them in their communication with families, because I feel like that the relationship and the partnership between families and clinicians is a vital one, and it needs to be effective. That families have so much knowledge from their lived expertise of being parents to these incredible young men, that often their knowledge isn't being heard or respected. And I think that for innovation and therapies and for best care practices to thrive and to exist, we need to be able to listen to each other and respect each other's perspectives. So I feel very passionate about that work, because I know that no clinician goes to work to intentionally cause harm with their communication, and it's about mutual respect, essentially. So I provide a lot of communication tools. So please come and talk to me throughout the sessions. I'm really looking forward to learning more about you and getting to know you, and thank you for having me here.
Hello, I am Jacque Tremblay. I'm a professor at the Faculty of Medicine at Laval University and a researcher. I have been working on Duchenne muscular dystrophy since the discovery of the gene which is mutated and causing this disease, and I have no slide. They told me that if I speak more than 5 minutes, they're going to kick me out of the stage. So I've been working on Duchenne muscular dystrophy since 1987. So that's the year that they finally identify what is the gene which is mutated. And the first form of therapy that I've been working on is the transplantation of myoblasts. Myoblasts are cells that are derived from a muscle biopsy of the donor, which is either the father or the mother. And these cells will fuse with the existing muscle fibers, or they will form new muscle fibers. And so this is a form of gene therapy where the vector to introduce the novel gene is a cell. And so we have done a phase 1 clinical trial many years ago that shows that indeed the myoblasts can introduce in the existing muscle fiber a gene which is coding for dystrophin, and there is expression of dystrophin. And more recently, we started a phase 2 clinical trial which was aiming to answer the question, does myoblast transplantation increase the strength of the muscle where the myoblasts have been transplanted? Unfortunately, this clinical trial ended with the COVID pandemic, and we have not resumed after that. But more recently, until 2019, I've been working on a technology called prime editing. It's derived from the CRISPR-Cas9 technology. It's a fantastic technology that can correct, that can modify one nucleotide. In the human genome, each of you, they have 6.4 billion nucleotides forming the DNA. And sometimes the dystrophin gene or other genes will be perfect, you know. There's just one nucleotide that is changed, and this technology permits to correct that one nucleotide. It's a fantastic technology because we estimate that there is 7,000 different hereditary diseases. Some of them are very rare. They will attack one person out of 50,000. But this technology has the capacity to eventually correct point mutation responsible for these many different hereditary diseases. The main problem at this point is we know this technology works. It can correct mutations in cells of patients in culture. The next step is to deliver that technology with sufficient efficacy to do the correction in cells, in muscles, or in the heart, or in the brain for many hereditary diseases. So the next step, as I always say to my students, is deliver, deliver, deliver. And we're working on that. And my hope is that many hereditary diseases will be cured with this technology approach.
Thank you, Dr. Tremblay, and sorry about the slides there. We tried to get those going, but...
No problem. In fact, I was going to say I'm here today and part of tomorrow, and I am going to be very sad when I go back home if I do not spend every minute talking to one of you. I'm here to talk and explain what I'm doing and answer your questions. So please come to see me.
Thank you. That's amazing. Sherene. Thank you so much, Sherene, for joining us. And last but not least, co-founder of Jesse's Journey. Yeah, thank you, Sherene.
Thank you. I first heard the word Duchenne on June the 6th, 1986, when our son Jesse, at age 6, was diagnosed with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. I am Sherene Davidson. I am Jesse's mother, and I am John Davidson's wife. I have been involved in this organization from the very beginning, from the boot drives and car washes to the 2 walks across, one across the province, one across Canada. We had no website, and I and a few volunteers wrote manually by hand 7,000 receipts, which also had to be mailed out. I was also the bookkeeper for the organization at the beginning until it was time to get more professional advice. I am also on the Defeat Duchenne Investment Committee, where we keep an eye on the investments that are working for you. We invest very conservatively, but with an eye towards a profit. At the time we received the diagnosis, there were no treatment and no drugs. We would go a couple of times a year to the clinic, and they would do nothing other than monitor us. It was basically like they were saying, yes, you still have it, and go home. We've come a long way since then, but we have a long way to go. John and I wanted Jesse to have the most fulfilling life possible. So he lived independently, and as parents around here know, he thought that was just part of growing up, but it caused a lot of nervousness on our part. He was able to go on to post-secondary education, and in that he was a very early person to do that in a wheelchair. There wasn't a lot of other people doing that kind of thing. And he also was the president of his junior achievement company. So all in all, he had the most varied and interesting life that we could provide for him. My biggest contribution to this organization is probably as a supportive wife. So as I mentioned, I was here for the walk across Ontario and the one across Canada. But when John finished a recent walk of 33K, he told me that that was the end of his walking. Hooray. I would like to send out a special thank you to my daughter-in-law, Nikki, and my son, Tyler, who have come along and helped with the setup for today. I really haven't kept up with the information, so I'm really looking forward to talking to some of the researchers and finding out more, and also talking to all of you. Thanks.
Thank you to the panel. And while all of these individuals are up here representing different parts of our community, you are our community. And I encourage everyone to, again, this is an opportunity for us all to connect, get to know each other, and what a great opportunity to have not just families here, but every representative from our community. We have organizations, we have clinicians, and we have researchers. We also have industry here as well.